the Trademark Like a Boss show. I'm excited to be here today with Alexis Ring. For those of you all who don't know me, I am Radiance Harris, founder and managing attorney of Radiance IP Law. I help emerging businesses protect, monetize, and grow profitable brands with trademarks. And today we're going to be talking about how to break the mold in business. I'm really excited for this conversation. And if you are watching live, be sure to drop where you are watching from in the comments. And if you happen to watch this on replay, be sure to use the hashtag replay so that we know that you watched it on the replay. So let's get to it. Hi, Alexis. It is nice to have you here today.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So share with our audience who you are, what you do, who you serve.
So I am Alexis Ring, and I own Lexi Miller, which is a women's cycling apparel company. So I serve female cyclists, women who ride, and it's really a niche within a niche. Cycling is a big sport. It's definitely blown up over the past year with a pandemic and people wanting to get outdoors. But I definitely serve women who are looking for a functional yet fashionable option in cycling apparel.
So tell me, how did you get into cycling?
So in my late 20s, I was an interior designer. That was my my first trade, I guess. And I was just looking for something outside of work to do. I love my job, but I was just kind of sick of just going to the gym after work and just doing some kind of aimless workout. And in San Francisco, there's always people outdoors doing things, So, and the weather is typically great throughout the year, so it's easy to be outdoors. So I decided to sign up for a half marathon training program, and I loved it. And I realized that I had a thing for endurance, and I ran the race, felt great, was getting ready to train for the San Francisco Marathon, the full distance. But basically I came down with a back injury, which is it's not that uncommon, but mine was pretty symptomatic. And the recommendation was just find a sport that involves less compression, less impact. So that took me a few months to finally absorb and get over. And again, in San Francisco, there's always people outdoors riding bikes, running. So I'd see people on bikes, but I was very intimidated because this was over 10 years ago, and most of those people were men. And I didn't really feel like I belonged there. They all seemed really fast and just male. That was one impediment. And then the other was like, do I have to wear these clothes, these goofy looking clothes?
Right.
Why can't I just wear my Lululemon leggings and a tank top and ride a bike? So that was how I got into cycling. I decided I'm just going to buy a bike, and worst case scenario, I can sell it, But it turned out to be something that I loved, and over 10 years later, here I am.
That's awesome. I can relate to you. I too trained for a marathon. I actually ended up running the Marine Corps marathon. I actually got injured while training. I had really bad plantar fasciitis in my feet, but I was determined to finish the race. And so literally I got like cortisol shots in both feet just to numb the pain, just so I could finish. And so after I did that, I was like, I had to give up running. It was too much. So I can definitely relate to that. Mm-hmm. Tell me, at what point in your business journey did you start the trademark process? And what inspired you to do it at that time?
Pretty early on. And it was probably one of the first things I did after, securing my domain. I think the thing that encouraged me to do it was I had heard a couple of horror stories about people that didn't do that. And then, they'd have lawyers come after them, and they were like, well, we didn't know. We had no idea that this name was taken, or we were infringing upon somebody else's, business. So very, very early. Oh, and also because, this is not just a digital product. So right. I literally have the name on everything, even though my branding is pretty minimal, even if it's just hang tags and all that. I mean, what a pain to have to, go back and, redo all of that. It's a really expensive mistake to make.
Absolutely. So that's good that you started early and you made sure your brand was protected. So what did that do for you, being able to protect your brand early in your business journey?
It just gave me one less thing to worry about, you know? And it was also just kind of cool. I mean, to be like, oh, I've got a trademark business, just, it gives you that sense of legitimacy and,
Yeah.
and taking up space in an industry, and just makes you feel really, I don't know, like you're a business.
Right, right. And a lot of clients say that is that I find that those who actually make the investment to do the trademark are those who are going all in with their business from the beginning. And so those who tend to be kind of timid, like, I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know if this is gonna succeed. They're a little bit, I guess, more hesitant to do it versus those who are like, kind of believe from the jump. So what gave you that confidence and that belief in the jump to be like, I'm gonna protect this, like this is gonna work out, like I'm tired of these goofy looking cycling clothes, I wanna be cute. Like what gave you that motivation early?
Are you talking in terms of starting the business or the trademark aspect?
I'm talking about in starting the business and making sure that it was protected early. What gave you the confidence in your business so early?
Well, I always said if there had been another option, like another line that I wanted to wear, I never would have done this. And so I really felt like it was such a unique solution, and there was nothing else like it out there. And I have a particular, jersey that's designed there's nothing else like it. And, in apparel, designers all, I won't say necessarily copy one another, but we're all influenced by one another. So it wasn't so much that I was, scared of like this idea being taken or copied or anything, but I just knew that I was doing something unique, something that was really filling a blank space in the industry. And so I just felt like, again, it wasn't just going to be a hobby or like let's just see how this goes. It was really something that I felt was needed in the industry. And again, unique and really worth taking that extra step to protect it, even though it was kind of a daunting experience jumping into the whole trademark thing, because it's not simple. It takes a lot of it takes some work, and it takes either hiring a professional like you or some, there's a lot to wade through.
Yeah.
So that alone, I think, just taking that step is just, again, part of that commitment of like, I'm going to start this business,
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me, like, did you do any initial research to kind of figure out how to break the mold, how to come up with clothes, designs that don't already exist? Like, how did you kind of develop this line?
It really just came out of my own frustration. I mean, when I started cycling, companies like Lululemon were becoming really popular, and Athleta, and companies like Nike were really upping their game in terms of athletic apparel. So we had kind of gone from the cotton t-shirts and lacrosse shorts to leggings and, cute tank tops and technical fabrics. And cycling felt like it was, women's cycling apparel felt like it was just an afterthought. I'd go shopping and it just felt very strangely age inappropriate. Like the prints were really garish and, kind of something that I would have worn as a child. So I wanted something that looks like, I dress pretty like simply, just like a really kind of timeless taste. I wear a lot of black. I like to keep things simple.
Yeah.
And I just didn't find that there was that kind of streamlined aesthetic. And I wanted to bring things in like piping and change where the seams are in terms of the detail. And there was just nothing like that out there. The typical cycling jersey is, 5 panels or so, like one in the front, one in the back, 2 on the sides, and kind of maybe a collar as an afterthought. I mean, I will say in the past 10 years, other brands have also elevated women's cycling apparel, but when I was looking around, there was no inspiration within cycling. I definitely took what was technical, because you need to have a chamois in the shorts, because you need that padding. That took a lot of convincing for me at first, but after my first 15-mile ride, I was like, okay.
Right.
And I also understood that your yoga leggings cannot be used on the bike for any long distance. It's a different fabric, it's a different makeup. You need stuff that's not going to pill, lighter weight. So the only inspiration I guess I took from the marketplace was the technical requirements. And then I thought of that and I said, well, how can I infuse a little bit of style into this? So for example, the jersey that I was talking about, there's nothing else like it anywhere else, is inspired by the Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress. So
yeah.
And it just kind of like, it's the kind of thing that you can just slide over your head and it just fits well. There's no, there's no, gapping or anything. And it kind of fits like your perfect favorite t-shirt. And I thought, how can we take things that we love in our closet and get inspiration actually from those on the bike without making it fluffy, without taking the function away. So yeah.
Yeah. So cute and form fitting, basically.
It's definitely functional,
Yeah.
And that's been, since cycling is a little bit of a male dominated sport, I think it's been, not that it matters necessarily, but men typically see what I do and they're like, oh, but is it functional? And absolutely,
Right.
I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just making it look better.
Yes, absolutely. So tell me, based on your experience with Lexi Miller, what is your number one business advice?
I would say, especially if you're a creative person, if you're creating a product, that is just step one. I would say, think about how you're going to get your message out to the masses. I mean, when I started this, I knew nothing about social media marketing, advertising. I knew nothing about email marketing. So I would say, get those ducks in a row and figure out if you're going to do it yourself or if you're going to hire somebody to do it, just make sure that you have like your email service provider, set up and how you're going to market, and what your messaging is going to be, because the product again is just, it's just the first part.
Yeah. So you're saying get your marketing systems in place. That's the number one advice. Yeah. I can see, that's important across any industry, but especially when you're in e-commerce and you've got products, I know that that's really important to actually have like a marketing plan and system. And not be all, willy-nilly, out there.
Yeah.
To have some strategy behind it.
And also in e-commerce, you just have to realize it's really a numbers game. I had no idea. I had no idea about conversion rates and traffic. And so knowing that, knowing that getting a lot of eyeballs on your website is key, because only a percentage of those people are going to stay on your website. Only a percentage of those are going to actually buy something. So it's a numbers game.
So what's next for you? Is there anything you're currently working on?
Well, I definitely want to expand our product offering. I'm playing with some prints and then also size range. So, when I started, I had to start small just to see if the idea would take off. So that means, a limited number of SKUs. So in terms of sizes and colors. So I started with 2 through 12. And so I want to expand that size range upward and again, get some prints in there.
Awesome. So how can people I love it. How can people connect with you?
So LexiMiller.com is our e-commerce site. And then on Instagram, Lexi at Lexi Miller Apparel. And then same for Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today, Alexis.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. And thank you all for tuning in today. If you want to learn more about Alexis Ring's company, check out LexiMiller.com. Also follow her on Instagram as well. I've been following you, so you have a nice, lively timeline. Mm-hmm. And if you're interested in learning more about trademarks, be sure to check out my book, Trademark Like a Boss, or schedule a one-on-one trademark strategy call with me. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, take care.
Thank you.
Bye.